Today, I'm mixing my first song in Dolby Atmos. This is literally my first ever attempt at immersive audio, and I, like many others, are super curious to know what it's like. So I'm putting myself up to the challenge of mixing an entire pop song from top to bottom in 7.1.4 Dolby Atmos. And then to make things a little more exciting, at the end, I'm revealing the finished surround sound mix to the artist in person, in studio, and capturing her reaction live. So the pressure is low-key kind of on right now. I hope she likes what I do to her song. I've been producing, mixing, and mastering my own music for over 10 years, but honestly, I've never even listened to Dolby Atmos before, let alone mixed in it. But everyone's got to start somewhere, right? So I recently took the plunge and got the Immersive Bundle, which features 11 IK Multimedia iLoud MTM Mark II monitors, a PreSonus subwoofer, an Apogee Symphony Studio interface with 16 outputs, plus all the cables and stands to create a full 7.1.4 Dolby Atmos workstation. There's a lot that goes into a proper Dolby Atmos setup, so if you want to watch my complete guide, I'll include a link to that in the description below. We're going to be exploring 3D panning, automation, plus some immersive audio effect plugins by Eventide, who's the sponsor of this video, but more on that later. YouTube as a platform at the moment does not support Dolby Atmos video uploads. So instead of direct audio, I'm going to be capturing my room with a stereo pair of microphones that you'll hear in the background behind my voiceover. I'll do my best to articulate exactly what I'm hearing and what I'm thinking as I go. And again, I'm a complete beginner. Don't take this as a tutorial, but more of a fun exploration and journey to discover how to mix in this exciting new format together. So let's jump in to the Dolby Atmosphere. So here we are inside the finished stereo Logic session for a song called Love Like That. This was produced, recorded, mixed, and mastered entirely in Logic Pro 11, and we're going to keep it here in Logic as we convert this finished mix into a Dolby Atmos mix. As you can hear, it's a nice, clean, sparse production.
Hey, did you know that my body's a party? Oh, it's so fab and you know you're invited.
Not a ton going on in the mix.
We can go all out, spend the whole night in.
Most of the plugins are here on the vocals.
Don't make no plans, cause I know you like it. I don't care if you wanna stay and waste all my time. I don't care if people think it's wrong or it's right. I don't care.
We're going to place all these stacks, instruments, vocals, everything within the Dolby Atmosphere. We'll listen to the rest of the song as we go, because it's time to convert this project into Dolby Atmos. Before I do that, I want to avoid accidentally overwriting the main version of the project, so let's just do save as, and we'll put it right here in the same project, and we'll call it Love Like That Dolby Atmos. And then we're ready to go. So let's start out by going up to the Mix menu, clicking Dolby Atmos, and switching spatial audio from off to Dolby Atmos. In this menu, you pick your surround format, and I'm using 7.1.4, but 7.1.2 is the closest option they give here, so we're just going to pick that. Next, let's close this menu and go into the main Logic settings and click Audio, I/O Assignments. And this is where you can double check that all of your outputs are indeed sending to the correct setup in your 7.1.4 system. It's just important to make sure that your cables are all straight, because if you don't have this straight with your cables, you are going to be very confused trying to do your first Dolby Atmos mix. Once you have everything straightened out and ready to go, let's open up our master channel by scrolling all the way over to the right. You'll notice that whatever your master chain used to be just got deleted and replaced with this plugin. This is the Apple Dolby Atmos plugin, and it shows you a 3D render of where your sounds are taking place inside the space around you. We're going to be looking at this plugin a lot as I mix, because it's going to provide a really helpful visual for you to understand what I'm hearing as you listen in stereo. Here in this monitoring format menu is where I want to select 7.1.4, or if I was using Apple's AirPods Max headphones, I would pick the Apple renderer. But since I have the full speaker setup, I'm going 7.1.4. Another thing that you'll notice in the Dolby Atmos version of your Logic session is a lot of your summing folders. Like, this used to be a place where all my instruments got summed together, but it's now just more of like a graphic summing folder, meaning your routing kind of gets changed when everything gets sent to surround sound. So let's go ahead and send every instrument out. Instead of having it go to a specific bus, we're going to have them all go to the surround. So that's from here to here. We're going to go to output, surround. So now everything is dumping directly into our surround master. To be safe while we're mixing, we can mix into a limiter. So let's try a FabFilter Pro L2. We're going to worry more about the Pro L2 settings at the very end. I like to have just a little bit of a safety net overhead to make sure that we don't get too loud. And plus the default setting sounds banging anyways. You'll notice when we switched all of our channels into surround mode that the regular pan knob became a binaural panner. And this is what allows you to pan things in a 360-degree angle. You'll see that there's sort of a 90-degree spread representing when something is centered, it's coming out of the left and right speakers. However, if you wanted it to only come out of the center speaker, you could decrease the spread like this. And this is something that you'll be seeing me using a lot during this mix. But I just want to give like a little overview of what these controls actually do. Let's keep it at 90 by default. Elevation refers to how high or low the speaker is above the listener's perspective. In 7.1.4, you have 4 speakers overhead and 7 speakers around you at ear level. So being able to raise or lower the perspective of a sound, or maybe put it somewhere in between, will also be very useful. Diversity gives you the opportunity to spread things and kind of smear it around the entire spectrum or have it come from all angles. As you can see, there's a lot to choose from when you're mixing in Dolby Atmos. And let's keep our angle right dead on at 0. Down here you have a center level and LFE level. And this is basically the level of signal getting sent to your subwoofer. So on synths, we're probably not going to use this, but on kick and 808, we're definitely using this. The second type of Dolby Atmos panning tool that you have is available here by right-clicking and selecting 3D Object Panner. This gives you slightly more detailed control, treating your sound as a 3D object in a 3D space around you. Not only can you move it around you, but you can also grab the up-down level to change the height. So if you were to automate things to be spinning around over your head or getting closer or further away, this is how you'd be doing it here in the 3D Object Panner. However, if it's a sound that you need to do LFE or send to your subwoofer, I would stick to the regular binaural panner. You even have little miniature controls out here that you could grab without opening the window, giving you that full 360 3D object control and above or ear level. Let's take a listen to how it sounds on the first synth in our song. Move it to the left, to the right, and behind us. Above our heads, and all the way around. But we're going to keep this front and center. All the sound sources in this project are stereo, and we're going to be using buses with a surround sound format to upmix these stereo sounds and place them around the 3D spectrum. So let's delete these original buses that are here, going to stereo reverbs, and let's create a new bus using the next available one. Let's try bus 16, send it at a reasonable volume. Let's go over here. We have bus 16, and let's load up an instance of Blackhole Immersive. This is an Eventide plugin made specifically for surround sound formats. And Blackhole has always been one of my favorite reverb plugins to create really crazy spaces and electronic sounding reverbs. And here on this instrument, we could just slowly ease it in a little bit. And let's also solo this. Whoa. So even though the sound is coming from the 2 stereo speakers in front of me, the reverb tails are coming from all the speakers around me. And it goes even deeper than that. So this plugin has the traditional reverb controls like gravity, which kind of makes it feel like it's going forwards or reverse, size, which controls the length of the reverb. Oh. You can create really cool chorus effects with a short size. Feedback creates more like echoes of that tail. And crossfeed allows the tails to trigger new tails. So stuff that's happening in the front could be triggering new echoes in the back or vice versa. Now here between each of the main knobs, you have what's called a tilt control, and tilts between front or rear. And this allows the reverb to behave differently depending on where the source is coming from. So you can have the sounds from the front trigger a long reverb and the sounds from the back trigger a shorter reverb. So for example, pushing the size up in the front will have the sounds towards the front of the space trigger a longer reverb, while sounds towards the back are going to trigger a shorter reverb. To make things even crazier, you can blend between two different presets that you can enable by clicking these two buttons. So let's say you want a long gravity, long size, low feedback, and medium crossfeed. But then you also want to, like for your verse, you want a reverb that's got long gravity, short size, low feedback, and high crossfeed. So now when we're going here, boom, we have a slider that cuts between two different presets. And it goes even deeper. You can also EQ every individual source here in your plugin. So by turning on the EQ, you can have what's happening in the front trigger a brighter reverb. What's in the rear can trigger a darker reverb. It's crazy. Let's also just turn down the volume of this aux too. And you can see here on the master output, the main two channels of the plucking source are coming from the center, but all the reverb tails are this nice wash around the outside. And here in our Dolby Atmos plugin, you could see two sources. You can also give more movement to your reverbs by affecting the depth and the rate of the modulation. This doesn't just wobble the pitch like a traditional modulation, it affects the timing and the relationship between the left and right ear and how it makes things feel even wider. It really is crazy having a reverb plugin that produces unique impulse responses for every speaker around you. If you thought a regular stereo reverb was wide, you wait till you hear this. So let's really mix this in how I would want it. I don't think I want this much Blackhole on it. I want just like a subtle little bit of Blackhole. That's nice. Before we get to the vocal, I want to mix one more little ornamental sound that happens in the background. Let's just mute all these vocal channels real quick. I love how you could do this in Logic by sliding the mute button down. In amongst the plucks, we have this little high-pitched vocal thing. And by default, we have a stereo SP 2016 reverb going right here on the channel. But I think I'm going to skip this and we're going to send this off to our new Dolby Atmos bus. So let's go to Blackhole and let's send this plugin to Blackhole. I love that. And let's push the plucks a little quieter into Blackhole. We also have some snaps over here that we could push into this 3D space as well. Even with the stereo reverb on it, we can then push that into a Dolby Atmos reverb. So let's send this in like this, and we'll also copy this same idea here onto the tambourines, sending all of these to the Eventide Blackhole Immersive. Now they're really happening in a surround sound space. And let's pull these down a little bit. And we're still retaining the original reverb that the producer would expect to hear by keeping the SP 2016 plugin on here, which is just a stereo plugin. We're keeping a lot of the stereo mixing plugins and using buses to upmix it to Dolby Atmos. So now that we've got our main music bed sounding pretty groovy, we'll go more into the details later. I'm really excited to get into the vocals. So let's unmute this and start with the lead vocals.
Hey, did you know that my body's a party? Oh, it's a vibe and you know you're invited. We can go all out.
So here in the binaural panner, we have this completely centered.
Don't make no plans, 'cause I know you like it. I don't care.
Spinning the vocal around is definitely not going to be the vibe for this. Let's just send the diversity back to about 25% where it normally is.
Did you know that my body's a party?
That way we have a little bit of the vocal in the side speakers too.
Oh, it's a vibe and you know you're invited.
But it's mostly coming from the center speaker right in front of me.
We can go all out, spend the whole night in. Don't make no plans, 'cause I know you like it. I don't care.
Let's actually solo all of our vocals and worry about how they work with the mix later. I just want to think about the different layers of the vocals within the Dolby Atmos space.
Hey, did you know that my body's a party?
So we got our main vocals soloed.
Oh, it's a vibe and you know you're invited.
This bus used to be where all of our vocals got sent to, but now it's basically just a place to minimize stuff.
Don't make no plans, 'cause I know you like
None of these buses are doing anything.
I don't care if you wanna stay and waste all my time. I don't care.
Now, we still kind of have somewhat of some sort of panning, but I think I want to do something a little bit cooler with this. Let's send our doubles hard right and hard left. And then we got some harmonies. Let's do them about 45-degree angles. We got more harmonies that we're going to have 45 to the back. Let's do some that are straight back as well.
Hey, did you know that my body's
And now let's take a listen to what we get.
Oh, it's a vibe and you know you're invited. We can go all out and spend the whole night in.
Let's also convert these.
Don't make no plans, 'cause I know you like it.
Let's convert them all to 3D objects.
We can go all out and spend the whole night in. Don't make no plans, 'cause I know you like it. I don't care if you wanna stay and waste all my time.
And let's do this panning again with the 3D objects. So let's go to the left, to the right, to the corners, to the back corners. I just want to hear what a full spread sounds like, just out of curiosity. And now let's see what our vocals.
Did you know that my body's a party?
So you got the lead right in your face.
Oh, it's a vibe and you know you're invited. We can go all out and spend the whole night in.
I like it. It's crazy having the vocal right in front of
Don't make
you.
no plans, 'cause I know you like it.
But I like it.
I don't care if you wanna stay and waste all my time. I don't care.
Whoa.
If people think it's wrong or it's
That's
right.
nice.
I don't care. As long as I got you by my side. Chasing us butterflies.
Now, we just did some simple placement of the 3D object. Nothing's moving. Things are just placed purposefully in a nice non-distracting way. There's going to be opportunities later to make things move, but I don't think it's going to be with the lead vocals. I think it's going to be more with musical instruments and special effects and percussions. Let's unsolo all of our vocals and hear them with the beat. Hey! This vocal sounds huge. And you can see here on the output meter, we're using a lot of channels. These Adlibs straight behind you instead of a 90-degree spread. Let's do like a 40-degree spread. This sounds nuts. So with very little effort, we've already made huge adjustments to this acapella and to the main synth and the snaps and the things that you hear under the verse. We're going to dive in and do a little bit more fun stuff on this vocal and then go back into the beat and see what kind of surround sound enhancements we could do. One thing that I love doing to stacks of vocals to make it feel like a bigger group of people is a chorus plugin. And for that, I like using something like Micropitch by Eventide. They have taken that to the next level with Micropitch Immersive. So let's take everything that would make sense with a chorusing plugin, which should probably go from here to here, and let's create another Dolby Atmos bus. Let's do bus 17, and we'll send them all to it for now at full volume. I'm gonna call this one Micropitch, and that's exactly what we're loading up here. Let's search for the word immersive and select the Micropitch Immersive surround sound version. Boom. And we have got a nice 3D bus that we could send. So here in Micropitch Immersive, it's all about detuning from the left to the right and from the top to the main to create that chorusing experience. You also have feedback, which kind of echoes the vocals a little bit more, and of course the option to morph between two different presets. So let's turn our mix all the way up on both sides of this. But as we switch back and forth, let's have these all go to the left. And for this, we're gonna have them all go to the right. So boom. That way, if we want to change the way our chorus effect sounds mid-song, we could do that. But let's start by hearing what it sounds like with all of our vocals pumping into this. Let's loop the chorus. Oh, that's huge. without it. I mean, that's big, but that's huge. Let's pull it down a little bit in the mix. And just like in the other immersive plugin, you can EQ the front a little bit differently. Maybe we want to darken the front and brighten the rear to do the opposite of what we did with the reverb. Turn up some modulation. Let's increase our loop size too. But what makes this feel so alive and so different from the stereo version when you use the immersive version is, of course, the ability to tilt things, to make things feel different in the front and in the back. We could tilt things forward, tilt things to the back, which basically makes it more sensitive to sounds coming from the front or to sounds coming from the back. Because again, every sound has a source, like our lead vocals are coming from here. Background vocals are coming from here. Hey. So having Micropitch immersive across all of the stacks glued them all together really nicely. They all have a little bit of compression and EQ going on, de-essing and auto-tune on the individual channels using regular mono plugins, because these are regular mono vocal recordings. And you could have all sorts of different format plugins going in a Dolby Atmos session. You don't have to load up like Dolby Atmos auto-tune to mix your vocal in a Dolby. It uses like the regular mono version, just the same. The only thing that changes is the panning and the way you can kind of place it in your speakers. The last vocal that I have that I want to really treat specially is going to be Adlibs. I don't think it's going to be that cool to send these to the same exact effects as the rest of the vocals. Adlibs really do deserve to be treated specially on their own. Of course, we do have really unique EQ settings here with split EQ.
Put your body on motion, like the waves in the ocean.
So they got a nice little telephone effect, some nice compression on it. Tuning, de-esser, the regular stuff, a little bit of distortion, but I want to use Dolby Atmos plugins to add the effects to this, to make this really come to life. So let's create one more bus, and the next available one is 18, and we're going to throw another immersive Blackhole on here. And this is where we can put some settings that specifically make the Adlibs sound rockin', because these are really on a channel by themselves. Let's start with a long, lush reverb. Oh! I'm gonna call this channel Big Verb. Turn the size down a little bit and the feedback up. Let's tilt this all towards the back, because these are all Adlibs. Everything's gonna be happening towards the back. Let's just take everything and darken it. Take some of the bass out too. Hey. Now, another thing I might want on these are some delays. And we already have a stock delay here, which is our quarter note delay. I think that's what I want to hear on this. And let's just send it here. And also let's solo our Valhalla quarter note delay. And I also want to pan our Valhalla quarter note delay to the back. Let's make it a 3D object panner and front to back all the way. Boom, boom. And we got a Dolby Atmos delay made from a stereo plugin, but being upmixed to Dolby Atmos with a 3D object panner. So boom, we're using the exact same delay that was in the original mix, and we've customized it and panned it to make sense with our Adlibs. Hey, so that is a really cool vocal mix. We got an immersive reverb, a delay panned all the way to the back, a vocal panned all the way to the back, triggering it. That's our Adlib channel. And then an entire spread of vocal tracks all the way around you with a lead dead center in your face. And most importantly, we're retaining the integrity of the original mix. We're not completely changing the vibe of the reverbs. We're not completely changing the way the effects sound in the chorus. We're just using better, more immersive effects when we can. Let's get back into this beat and see if we can do some more tricks. So little percussions and background elements like this are the place where you might be able to get away with some more creative panning work. You can draw in panning with your mouse, but that's no fun. I would rather do it here with the 3D object panner. So let's convert this little shaker loop to a 3D object panner. And let's just do a little loop from here to here just to practice what our idea is going to be. Let's also move this up above our head. Not all the way, just like halfway. Just to really fill in the available space. It gets kind of distracting when it gets hard left and hard right, so maybe I'll just automate this left-right control going from here to here. So the easiest way to do that by hand is to press the letter A to enter automation mode. Click write on the track that you'd like to write some automation on. Give yourself a little head start with the loop so that you don't start too late, and press record.
Oh, it's a vibe and you know you're invited. We can go all out, spend the whole night in. Don't make no plans, cause I know you like it. I don't care.
We just swoop back and forth. That's nice. Now when we are done recording, we just switch it back to Reid mode, solo our sound, and check it out in the Dolby Atmosphere. Hey! Dancing around you. Subtle, but definitely adds some interest. I like having the more electronic drums straight in the center and these nice acoustic instruments kind of moving around. Let's hear what else we have. Stay centered. Centered. Okay, this is another one we might be able to pan around. Ooh. Let's use the binaural panner for this one. This sound has a little bit of low end to it. And let's send this sound from regular stereo output to the surround output. This sound has some bass in it. Let's try and turn up the LFE on here, get the subwoofer cooking. There we go. And speaking of LFE, we also have a whole kick and 808 that's not even going to the subwoofer yet. Let's start with the kick drum first, and then we'll do the 808. We're going to make sure that we're going straight to surround sound output, which we are. Open up the binaural panner and turn up the LFE level. Oh. So now, in addition to the kick coming out of the center front speakers, it's also coming out of the LFE channel. And we're going to do the same with our 808. And you don't want to blast it. Maybe like -6-ish. This sounds insanely huge. And maybe there's some more drums that we want to send to LFE. We'll take a listen. Anything with any kind of bass in it, like a tom, might make sense going to LFE. This one could. This is one of the loops from holoops.com Hot Tropics kit. I've never heard it in surround sound before. Let's check it out. Bring that beef back into it. A little bit of panning with the binaural panner. We already got that sound. Sound's got some meat to it too. Let's send this to the sub. Hey! We are grooving. Vocals are moving and percussion is moving. Let's get some more of these instruments moving. Man, that bass and kick are pumping through the LFE channel. I love it. So here in the musical instruments, we have our main sound, which we already addressed. A little background guitar. I think since this is a background guitar, maybe I'll take the opportunity to actually place this into the background. So let's try going 3D object panner. And let's send this to the back. Maybe we should pan this left to right too. Let's go in on some automation on this guy. So we're going to press the letter A, switch it to write mode, give yourself a little extra lead up time. Let's start on the left. And let's try some more panning tricks on some other sounds. Let's solo further down. This is our main pluck synth. I want to send this to our Micropitch, just to get a little detune going on here. Ooh, that's already huge. But let's also convert this to a 3D object panner and do some crazy automation on these steel drums. I want it to feel like a steel drum is just floating around you, like magic. Let's go ahead and switch this into write mode. Open up the steel drum. Open up the 3D object panner. And let's go 360 with this one. And then after we move it around, we're going to move it up too. But the up-down doesn't need to be automated, just the around does. I want the steel drums spinning around your head. Nice and slow. Kind of tranquilizing and relaxing. And you can see the left and the right channels are what's spinning around, but the dot in the center is what controls everything. We got some nice Dolby Atmos movement to listen to here. Let's take a listen to our chorus with the Dolby Atmos plugin open. Let's go. Hey! I like this lead synth. I think I want to do something crazy with this. This is originally made in Massive X, just the regular old stereo version. And let's kind of upmix this idea into Dolby Atmos with the 3D object panner. First, I just want to bus it off to a more 3D sounding reverb. We're going to do the normal size Blackhole, just so we get a little extra vibe on it. There we go. Now it's filling a bigger space. But in addition to filling a bigger space, it's also going to spin around. And let's have this come like halfway up over our heads. And then let's automate this in. more of like a four corners instead of like a circular fashion. Let's go to Write, give ourselves a little lead in, and record it with the music playing. Start on the left. Here. Again, you don't want to be too distracting. You don't want to go crazy with it, but sometimes you also do want to go crazy with it. And yeah, that's really up to you as the mixing engineer. You want to respect the original vision of the stereo mix, but also enhance it and bring something new. Give people a reason to listen to that extra Dolby Atmos version. Let's hear what this sound does. Okay, let's go straight background with this. You don't need to add movement to this one. This is sounding so clean. That vocal sample in the background is so wide. Let's hear it with the Dolby Atmos plugin open. So finally, we have the overall master loudness of our song. Now, you don't want to be as slammed and as, I guess, like loudness wars sounding as you would be with a stereo mix, but you do want to be up there in like the minus 10 LUFS, maybe minus 9. Let's hear in the loudest part of the song. And as you can see, we're really only attenuating the main 3 channels. Here on the main levels, you can see that we are using our entire 7.1.4 spectrum. Some of it through panning, some of it through specific immersive plugins that help a stereo sound fill the whole room for you. All right, so we have everything panned. We've added a few Dolby Atmos specific effects for both mixing and mastering, and we've done a boatload of automation to bring the most important parts of the songs to life, have all the background instruments in the background, and some of the ear candy swirling around you, making it feel more alive than ever. But ultimately, the artist is the final judge of whether or not the Dolby Atmos mix is done correctly or not. So let's bring KARRA in here to take a listen and react to how her song Love Like That sounds in Dolby Atmos.
Okay, let's hear it. The reverb sounds nice. And the ad-lib coming from behind, that's cool.
Hey, did you know that my body's a party?
And these vocals are super direct.
Oh, it's a vibe and you know you're invited.
It's a perfect way to mix a lead vocal.
We can go all out, spend the whole night. Woo! Don't make no plans, cause I know you like
You can feel the movement.
I don't care
Whoa,
if you want to stay.
this just got huge.
I don't care. Hey, people think that you don't know it's right. I don't care.
I absolutely love this. Wow. Hey! This actually sounds like a choir is standing around me, which is so cool. So much movement in the mix. Wow. And you can even hear sounds coming from above, too. Wow. What a unique experience. And sounds are coming from behind, from above me, moving around me. Wow.
So there you have my first ever Dolby Atmos mix. I think it's safe to say KARRA really loved experiencing her song in this new immersive audio format. Most of the work in Dolby Atmos is panning and placement, but it's always nice to have some plugins and specialized tools that were designed for immersive audio needs. Eventide has always made some of my favorite effects plugins, and this takes it to the next level, having Blackhole and Micropitch available in immersive formats. If you want to check out all the plugins that I used in this Dolby Atmos mix, I'll include links to everything in the description below, plus links to my Dolby Atmos setup guide and KARRA producing and recording this song from scratch. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you next time in the Dolby Atmosphere.